So the Apple Watch Ultra 1 came out back in 2022. And I will definitely tell you, when this particular watch first came out, I was very surprised about it, but I definitely felt like these things would sell, quite a bit of units. And I still think the Apple Watch Ultras are very, very good Apple Watches. They're still worth buying completely for sure, but I will definitely tell you, now with the Apple Watch Ultra 2, and now with the next generation Apple Watch that already came out, I'll tell you there might be some reasons why you may want to pick up a Series 9 or an Ultra 2, but if you're in the market and you don't really care about comparing it or getting the best features, I think a used Apple Watch Ultra 1 is a very good deal. It's a very good option, and they're significantly cheaper in the used market now than they were before in the brand new market. So if you want to pick up those things, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of the Apple Watch Ultra 1, this watch only came out in one particular model, and it was that 49mm, model. And I definitely will tell you, it was a very good looking Apple Watch. I thought at that time it looked very good, and it still looks very good. I mean, this thing looks so rugged, and it looks like such a unique looking watch, at least from the Apple Watch lineup, because it does look significantly different than the standard Apple Watches that we had before. So for one, you're not really getting this like curved glass. It's pretty much like this flat, sided Apple Watch, which is pretty interesting. Pretty thick bezels if you kind of consider it and you look up, next to it against the Series 8 or the Series 9. It definitely does look a little bit, more thicker, but that's because it has a lot more features built in. So it's going to have a thicker type of bezel anyway because there's just so much more things that Apple had to cram into here. But the display is very good, 2000 nits of brightness. When this Apple Watch came out, the other Apple Watches at that time only had 1000 nits of brightness. Since then, all the Apple Watches now have 2000 or 3000 nits of brightness, the newer ones, which is pretty crazy. So this one still has a very, very good display. I like the way this watch looks a lot, and I mean, it's fairly expensive, but it's a really good looking watch at the end of the day. Now on the sides, you are getting some interesting things. So for one, you're getting a digital crown. So that standard digital crown you're getting on any other, Apple Watch. You're getting your side button, so the one you click in. And on the other side, you're getting an action button. So this action button actually allows you to go ahead and, basically just go through and, if you want to, you can, kind of connect it to some other types of, devices and, you can connect it to other types of actions on your particular Apple Watch. So that right there is another very cool thing going on for this particular device. And I do think like if I'm going through and getting some sort of watch, it's a very cool thing that you basically have here. So this in and of itself is another really cool thing going on for this particular watch as well. On top of that, on the back of it, you're getting that standard wireless charger, so you can just charge this thing up if you want to. And definitely on the outside, it is a very cool looking watch. Like if I'm going through and picking up some sort of Apple Watch, I like this thing because it is fairly durable, but it's very cool and it has a lot of cool features that the other Apple Watches don't have, like an action button, for example. Now this thing is also very durable. So it is IP6X dust and water resistant, but you can go up to, basically it's water resistant up to 100 meters, and you can do recreational diving to 40 meters on this thing. The standard Apple Watches only get you water resistance for 50 meters, so that's another thing, and they're not even like dive proof or whatever. So that's another really cool thing. It's also dust resistant by quite a bit, and I remember when they were doing their showcase, they were showcasing a lot of dust going into this watch, and from everything that I've heard and seen so far, it is still a very strong Apple Watch from that particular standpoint as well. So that right there is another very, very cool thing going on for this particular watch. Now there's also other little tiny things going on for this particular watch when it comes down to it as well. Like there's little tiny features. You're getting obviously that S3, chip inside of it with that W3 wireless chip with that U1 ultra wideband chip as well. You're obviously able to get a GPS or cell model depending on which one you want. You're getting a temperature sensor, an electrical heart sensor. You're getting third generation optical heart sensor in there too. You're getting a water temperature sensor in the particular watch too. And you're obviously able to check things like high and low heart rate notifications, your irregular rhythm notifications. You have an ECG app built in. Sleep stages is another really cool thing. So you have a really good watch on this particular thing nonetheless, which is a very cool asset for this type of watch. So at the end of the day, if you're going through and using this type of Apple Watch, you're going to be getting a pretty good durable watch, but it's also going to have lots and lots of features built in for the whole entire, there's still features this Apple Watch has that the Apple Watch Series 9 doesn't have, and possibly the Series 10 won't have either. So that right there is another very cool thing going on for this particular watch too. Now, from the performance side, I will tell you this Apple Watch and these types of Apple Watches do a really good job from the performance sector. You're really not going to be doing anything super crazy with these types of watches. So you just have to kind of remember that, this is not going to be an Apple Watch that you buy and you're going to, like play games on it or anything like that. So from that particular side, this is a very good performing watch, I would say, on almost all fronts. So I would tell you from basically everything I would ever throw on an Apple Watch, this thing is probably going to be perfectly fine for a vast majority of people, which is actually a very, very cool thing going on for this particular watch too. So at the end of the day, what I will definitely tell you, I love this Apple Watch. I think it is a very, very good Apple Watch at the end of the day. And I do think like if you're in the market, I would highly recommend buying a watch like this. These things are very good. They have a lot of quality and a lot of power. And, these types of watches I would just recommend people to buy. They're just very good. And there's not really too many better watches than this thing in the market right now. So take it as you will. But that's kind of how I see this particular watch holding up in 2024. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.